April 10, 1912. The morning sun glinted off the icy waters of Southampton Harbor, England, as the RMS Titanic loomed like a city atop the sea. Passengers bustled across the decks, their laughter mixing with the creaking of massive steel and the whistle of steam engines. First-class travelers adjusted their hats and gloves, children clutched their parents' hands, and crew members moved with practiced precision, ensuring every detail of the unsinkable ship gleamed perfectly. Captain Edward Smith, tall and composed, paced the bridge, scanning the horizon with a trained eye. Wireless operators tapped out messages, while stokers deep in the bowels of the Titanic shoveled coal into the roaring boilers, feeling the ship's heartbeat in every swing of their shovel. Ice-cold North Atlantic winds brushed the decks, hinting at the journey's perils, though no soul aboard could foresee the catastrophe waiting in the dark waters ahead. Even as the band played, sending cheerful notes across the decks, a subtle tension lingered. Ice warnings were trickling in from other ships, a warning that would soon be ignored in favor of speed. Somewhere in the ship's heart, the sense of inevitability was building, like a silent storm waiting to crash. April 14, 1912. The night sky was a deep, inky black, pierced only by the faint glimmer of stars above the cold Atlantic. The Titanic plowed through the calm waters at full speed, its hull cutting a path that seemed unstoppable. Below deck, passengers slept in luxurious cabins, unaware of the looming danger. On the bridge, lookout Frederick Fleet scanned the horizon through binoculars, the bitter wind biting at his cheeks. Suddenly, a jagged shape emerged from the darkness. A monstrous iceberg, taller than most city buildings, silently drifting across the Titanic's path. "Iceberg, right ahead!" Fleet's voice cut through the night, sharp with alarm. The warning reached Captain Smith's ears instantly. Orders were shouted, wheels turned, engines reversed, but it was too late. The Titanic scraped along the ice's unforgiving edge, a metallic groan echoing through the steel frame. Passengers awoke to the unsettling thrum of impact, the ship shivering as icy water began seeping into her compartments. Panic began to stir quietly, a whisper at first, then a rising tide as realization dawned. The unsinkable ship had been fatally wounded. Crew members moved swiftly, gripping lifeboats and relaying instructions with a mixture of fear and discipline. Every second now mattered. Every decision could be the difference between life and death. By midnight, the Titanic was listing, her once pristine decks slick with seawater and panic. The cold, bitter wind whipped through the open rails as passengers scrambled, clutching coats and children, searching for lifeboats that seemed far too few. Officers barked commands, their voices barely carrying over the cries of fear and the grinding of steel against ice. Women and children were ushered into the lifeboats first, some stepping bravely, while others clung desperately to the hands of loved ones, refusing to leave. Below deck, the ship's orchestra continued to play, a haunting soundtrack to the unfolding horror, trying to calm the frightened souls who flooded the corridors. Crewmen hammered and shouted, attempting to maintain order as water surged into lower compartments, the groaning hull echoing like a death knell. Lifeboats were lowered into the dark Atlantic, some barely filled, others struggling to carry as many as possible. Every face told a story: hope, despair, disbelief. The Titanic, symbol of human ingenuity, was now a stage of survival against an unforgiving sea. As the first rays of April 15th touched the icy waters, the Titanic's mighty structure began its final surrender. The bow dipped sharply, dragging the grand staircase and opulent cabins toward the ocean floor. Passengers clung to rails, lifeboats now a distant promise on the black waves, while cries for help were swallowed by the roar of the sea. Captain Smith, calm to the very end, stood on the bridge until the water claimed him, a figure of dignity amidst chaos. The ship's stern rose high, twisting under the strain of its own weight before disappearing beneath the waves. In mere hours, over 1,500 souls were lost to the Atlantic's depths, the cold silence of the ocean swallowing stories, dreams, and families whole. Rescue ships arrived too late for many, retrieving survivors shivering in lifeboats, their faces etched with grief and shock. The world would later mourn the Titanic not just as a ship, but as a lesson in human hubris, a tragedy that reshaped maritime law forever. The sinking of the Titanic sent shockwaves across the world. Newspapers carried haunting images and survivor testimonies, each story painting a vivid portrait of heroism, panic, and heartbreak. Governments and shipping companies could no longer ignore the lessons of that fateful night. Lifeboat regulations were overhauled, wireless communication became mandatory on all ships, and ice patrols began to map treacherous waters, ensuring no voyage would repeat the same mistake. Even today, the Titanic remains a symbol of human ambition, its wreck lying silently over 12,000 feet below the Atlantic, a ghostly reminder of both ingenuity and fallibility. As you reflect on the courage and tragedy aboard, remember the lives that shaped history that night, the ordinary people caught in extraordinary circumstances, and the enduring lessons left by the ship that vanished beneath the sea. If the story of the Titanic's final hours left you breathless, imagine all the untold moments history has hidden beneath the waves. Here at America in Time, we dive deep into the events that shaped our world, uncovering stories of heroism, tragedy, and human spirit. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a journey into the past. Drop a comment below telling us where you're watching from. I love seeing our stories connect people across the globe. And remember, history is full of incredible tales waiting to be discovered, just like the Titanic's haunting legacy.